So my presentation goes straight to the international tourist satisfaction on the arrival non-processing service performance. And this study was done at Julius Nyerere International Airport. It's more like the same with the previous presentation, but different. Now, because we are linking with the tourism, we go straight that we all know in the global perspectives that airport is the one that play a very key role in the development of tourism industry. And the reason behind is because airport is the one which facilitates international tourist flow to different angles of the world where tourism activities is mostly done, but also is only airport that provide accessibility to the area whereby it's not easy to access by land transport. Now, speaking in the world today, the statistics shows that we have about 3.7 airports in the world, and all these airports, they are utilized by more than 1.3 airlines, which operates about 31.7 thousand airlines that travel passengers, but also cargo, including the tourists to different angle of the world. Now, there are few statistics here that are speaking from before COVID-19, during COVID-19, but also the current statistics of the tourist arrivals. We can see globally, before COVID-19, we had about 1.4 billion tourists traveling to different countries in the world for tourism purposes. But during COVID-19, the statistics went down to almost 963 million. And today, as we speak, the statistics also after the COVID-19 has elapsed, we have about 1.3 billion number of tourists globally as per last year's statistics. But speaking in the Africa perspectives, the same we can see here, that before COVID-19, this was the number. After COVID-19, the number went down to this maximum. And the last year's statistics, the number has gone also up to almost 6.1 million number of tourists traveling to different ends of the world. And this is the Tanzania statistics before COVID-19, after COVID-19, and today, with the effect, the impact of the Royal Tour, the number is now heading to 1.8 million international tourist arrivals in the country. Now, we have also a forecasting number of tourism growth in the world. Coming to 2035, it is estimated to have about 7.2 billion number of tourists traveling the world, but we also expect 2050 to have about 17 billion number of tourists traveling globally. What does it mean? This means that if this is not the number of tourists that will be traveling by air, then shows how the airports become a very important area to focus on. That's why here we are looking now today, we are saying that the impact of airport service performance today in tourism has gained a very big attention to researchers, and number of researches has been done globally, but this is very limited or very narrow in the context of Tanzania. Now, we all know that Tanzania is very rich and is very blessed in natural resource and tourist site. But regardless that we have this number of tourism, 1.8 as per last year data, but if we see the way Tanzania is placed in terms of natural resource and tourism sites, still that number is not that much pleasing. And there was a study by Chi said that many airports in Africa are unable to deliver superior customer experience, and this leads to poor tourism performance even in our country. So this might be one of the reasons as to why today we have a very minimum or not promising number of tourism arriving in our country. Now, we are saying that tourists today have had a very big concern about airport service performance. Why? because of some of the complaints that have been raised before COVID-19, during COVID-19, and to the existing time. We have issues like horrific and inadequate facilities at the airport terminals, passenger mistreatment, there was cases like those ones, staff rudeness, and disappointing health precautions in the protocol. And this also happened mostly during COVID-19 time. So all these, they were not very well addressed by researchers, regardless that they were the complaints that were raised by international tourists to our airports. So that's why today we are saying that because it was an issue that was not addressed, it was very important now to check if there is really a link or relationship between airport service performance and the tourist satisfaction, because at the airport there are different domains of which passenger can pass through arrival and during departure time. So we are saying today that the concern has touched both the processing domain and non-processing domain, and the studies regarding now the airport service performance today is very limited in the context of Tanzania. So the study aim was to highlight now the relationship between arrival, non-airport service performance with the international tourist satisfaction. And the big purpose was to influence now the achievement of uppermost airport service performance in order to effectively meet the international tourist expectations arriving in our country and to make them loyal tourists in the future. Now, we can see this is the structure. This is the airport structure. This is the way, this is how it looks like. So we have the processing domain and we have the non-processing domain at the airport terminal. We can see here in the processing domain, we have the departure chain. These are the departing tourists. We have the transit chain. These are the tourists that are on transit. They are there but heading to another destination. And we are having the arrival chain. These are the arriving tourists. What you are seeing there, these are the domains of which tourists must pass through for being checked. Those are the processing domain. The processing domain, these are the mandatory areas where tourists must pass through for checking, so that they can be checked. The non-processing domains, these are non-restricted areas of which a tourist can either pass through or can either do anything they like or they cannot do it. So these are non-mandatory areas. So we speak that in the departure chain, we have the areas which are non-processing domain, unrestricted. We have also unrestricted for the tourists who are at the transit, and we have the non-processing domain for the tourists who are arriving in the country. Now, for the purpose of this study, I just focused on the arrival non-processing domain, the last area, the arrival, the access facilities and retail area to the last part, where it is seen there. Now, the study used one theory and one model. There is a theory called expectancy disconfirmation theory. It's having 4 constructs. Those constructs, they are expectations, perceived performance, disconfirmation, and satisfaction. But based on my study, I just adopted the 2 constructs, that is perceived performance and satisfaction only. And the theory itself, it just had the construct without having any indicators to measure service performance in. So because of that, I had to buy now the indicators from the model. The model that was developed by one researcher called Weja in 2019, who now did a comparative analysis of more than 40 models to come up with one model that shows all the activities that are normally done at the airport by the tourists during arrival and departure time. So this is the model that has the processing domains in the arrival, transit and departure, and the non-processing domains in. So through this model is when I adopted the indicator in and then used them in the theory as the perceived airport service performance to be used and to be used by the international tourists for rating. And the empirical study, these were the study that was done in my in my research. Now, from the empirical study and theory, this was the model developed based on the one construct that was adopted. So the airport arrival accessibility, the airport arrival facilities, and the airport arrival retail area. So we speak of retail area, we speak of shop, cafeteria at the airport terminal. We speak of the facilities, we speak of Wi-Fi, we speak of washrooms and other facilities like that. And the arrival accessibility is all about the transport from the airport to the destination where international tourists are heading, but from the destination arriving at the airport terminal. And from there, we had only 3 hypotheses, and this was the methodology used. We just have 218, that is the sample size, and we then got data. The international tourists, the questionnaire was filled by 95%. Now, coming to the analysis adopted the descriptive statistics and the PLS, the partial least square, the PLSM, which had all these criteria. Because the PLSM have got the 2 sections, that is the reflective model and the structural model. Reflective model, those are the criteria in. Structural model, those were the criteria in, of which now this study was all these obtained during the analysis activity. The demographic profile, you can see now from the demographic profile, almost more than 50% number of tourists arriving in Tanzania were for tourism purposes. The rest of them, they just came, they are tourists, but they just came for business, conference, and other tourism purposes. Now, the respondents obtained from this study were from more than 15 countries. Looking here down, we have others. These are the tourists from other countries that we are not identified, but the rest of the countries are seen there, which are almost 15 of them. Now, going back now to our model, these were the results. And the results, because I was looking now the relationship, just checking whether the arrival accessibility, the transport from the airport, facilities at the airport, and also the cafeteria and the rest at the airport during arrival time, where passengers are in, are they really having the relationship with the tourist satisfaction or not? So the findings showed that the 2 constructs, that is arrival retail area, the upper one, this one, and arrival airport facilities, they showed that they have direct relationship with international tourist satisfaction. But the airport accessibility, it showed that it has no direct relationship with international tourist satisfaction. And this meant that most of the tourists, after arrival at the airport terminal, they don't most of the time concentrate on looking for the transport. Rather, their transport, it's normally arranged before their arrival time. That's why they normally have the itinerary before leaving from their mother country. So everything becomes arranged in the arrival airport access. That's why it shows that their relationship was not significant. Now from there, this was the results, which shows by red color that the relationship was not now significant. Now going straight to other criteria from the structural and the reflective model, this was the result. As you can see, at the airport arrival access, that the relationship, it's true from the statistics data, from the findings data, really the relationship was not significant. To show that the indicators that are at airport arrival accessibility, they not directly stimulate passenger satisfaction to tourists, but there are other factors that they normally support tourists out of the construct. That does not mean that its quality should be compromised. These were the supporting study from other researchers for each construct. And going straight to the theoretical contribution, we say that we know that the theory missed airport service performance indicators. So this study now has to adopt indicators from the airport service passenger model so that they can be used in the theory. So that becomes one of the theoretical contribution to the theory that because it has nothing regarding the indicator, but the indicators were adopted from the other model, but also were other indicators that were added from the literature to the airport service performance model, which were also adopted to the theory, and they were used for rating by the respondents. And this now takes us straight to the empirical contribution. Coming to the practical contribution, we say that the airport service performance model is, based on this study, it is now modified. Modified incorporating the indicators added from the literature. But also, we are saying that because we are looking for the practical implication, for the construct with the direct relationship with the international faction, we suggested that those indicators should now be used as major indicators at the airport terminal in case it happens that there are complaints of the poor service performance at the airport terminal. But the indicators at the construct with insignificant relationship, we suggest that those indicators should be used as a minor indicators for satisfaction, without meaning that its quality should be compromised, because it can bring another implication. Now, this study, because it was based much on the international tourists, we suggested that the other either include the international and the local, or can just go, the researchers can just go straight to the local tourists and see whether what has happened here, it's also really for the local tourists. But also on the other side. The end of my presentation. Thank you very much.